Have you ever wondered what's really fueling the world's next big conflicts? Spoiler, it is not just oil anymore. It is something buried deep under Ukrainian soil. As America strikes a massive new critical minerals deal with Ukraine, the balance of power on Earth, or maybe even in space, could be about to shift. Stay tuned because we're diving into how this hidden agreement could change your future. And if you're someone who likes knowing the real story behind the headlines, you're going to want to hit that like button and stick around. Now, why does this minerals deal matter so much? Imagine a chessboard where every move is powered not by armies but by lithium, cobalt, and rare earth elements. These minerals are what power everything today, from electric vehicles to smartphones to missile guidance systems. In short, whoever controls critical minerals controls the future. So when the US and Ukraine finalized an expanded critical minerals partnership in late April 2025, it wasn't just another international handshake. It was a strategic masterstroke against China, Russia, and anyone else competing in the global technology race. But how did we get here? Just 2 years ago, Ukraine's mineral sector was virtually in ruins, bombed out by war and neglected by international investors. Fast forward to today, and Ukraine is emerging as one of the biggest untapped sources of critical minerals outside of China. The U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, DFC, just announced a $4.5 billion investment into Ukraine's mining infrastructure. That's not small change. It's a full-blown strategic play to reduce America's and Europe's dependency on Beijing. Why is the U.S. so desperate to break free from China's grip? Well, as of today, China still controls nearly 70% of the world's rare earth processing capacity. That's an uncomfortable reality for the USA, especially as tensions with China escalate over Taiwan, South China Sea, and trade wars. In fact, one Pentagon advisor recently warned that America's tech industry could collapse overnight if China decided to weaponize minerals. Think about it. No chips, no batteries, no defense systems. Game over. But the real kicker? Ukraine as mineral wealth isn't just vast. It is close to Europe and America, logistically easier to access, and politically more aligned with the West. According to the Ukrainian Geological Survey, Ukraine holds one of the world's largest reserves of lithium, graphite, and titanium, three minerals that will define the next industrial revolution. If the US can secure access now, they can leapfrog China in emerging technologies like AI supercomputers, hypersonic weapons, and next-generation clean energy. So what exactly did the new US-Ukraine agreement promise? It's not just mining rights. It includes joint ventures, military tech sharing based on rare minerals, rapid mining infrastructure build-out, and crucially, preferential export routes to the USA. American companies like Lockheed Martin and Tesla are already lining up for early contracts. One insider from Tesla even said last week, this deal could be bigger than any lithium discovery in the last decade. Hold on, why would Tesla and Lockheed Martin be interested in the same minerals? Here's where it gets juicy. These minerals don't just make your iPhone work faster. They make hypersonic missiles, stealth fighters, and autonomous drones deadlier. It's dual-use technology. That is why this isn't just an economic deal, it is a national security play. Some are even calling it the new Manhattan Project for mineral independence. And guess who's furious about it? Russia. Just 3 days ago, Russia's foreign minister Sergei Lavrov accused the U.S. of pillaging Ukraine's national resources under the guise of aid. Meanwhile, Chinese state media warned of serious geopolitical consequences and hinted at retaliation through trade restrictions or alliances with other resource-rich countries like Congo and Brazil. Pattern break. Isn't it wild that wars are now being fought not just over land, but over invisible particles buried underground? Somewhere in a parallel universe, oil tycoons are crying into their golden bathtubs. But back to reality, what does this mean for you and me? Higher prices for electric vehicles could drop if supply chains stabilize. Tech innovation in America could skyrocket if minerals are secured. But, and it is a big but, global tensions could flare up fast if China or Russia view this as an existential threat. Already, NATO forces have been quietly deploying additional cybersecurity units to monitor critical supply chain attacks. Now, you might ask, Is it ethical for the US to tap into a war-torn country's resources like this? Depends on who you ask. Ukrainian officials argue that these deals are vital for rebuilding their shattered economy. Ukraine needs investment, not pity, said one Ukrainian energy minister last week. But critics worry this sets a dangerous precedent. Using wartime desperation to lock in resource contracts could become the norm. What's next? The first US-funded mining operations are set to begin this summer. If successful, America could reduce its dependency on China by up to 40% by 2030, according to the latest Congressional Budget Office report. That's a tectonic shift in global supply chains. Meanwhile, rumors are already swirling that China might retaliate by fast-tracking rare earth mining operations in Africa, or by tightening existing export restrictions. Some even speculate a new kind of Cold War is brewing, not over ideology, but over who controls the Earth's most critical ingredients. As the race heats up, one thing's clear. The future isn't just about who builds the biggest bombs or the fastest jets, but it's about who holds the keys to the minerals that make it all possible. And here's the big question. Will this minerals deal make America stronger? Or will it spark the next great resource war? If you love digging deeper into what's really happening behind the scenes in global politics and power plays, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and stick with us, because the real stories are just getting started.